Maybe, you noticed I said maybe a lot. Okay, every one of those examples I led with maybe. That's because it's very difficult to know. All right, but I've just given you I've given you 16 reasons. Okay, they're all potential reasons. Now what we're going to do is try to counteract any of these potential issues. So now that you know things that could happen, let's figure out if we can solve them before they happen. Right? Now, if you don't know a reason why somebody might not get back to you, and then you're like, oh, they never answered, I never heard from them, and let me move on with my life, and you don't change anything, nothing's going to change. So you have to start taking actions today with how you're corresponding with people, with how you're listing places online, to decrease the likeliness that maybe one of these things is happening. Okay? So, first one, get them on the phone. When you have somebody on the phone, you can instantaneously convey more information to them and gather more information from them. So that's going to help you eliminate a lot of other reasons why somebody might not turn into your client. So one of the reasons was maybe they don't like you. Right? So again, once they're on the phone, you can convey more information about you to them. Right? So you have to be more likable. We talked about that a little while ago, how to be more likable. Right? Be more engaging, be more enthusiastic, be more charismatic, become more the authority. Right? Ask them questions, get them opening up. Somebody who talks more to you about themselves somehow ends up liking you more. Got to be more personable with them. Some of you guys are way too professional, and it's a major turnoff. Right, we talked about that last week with your emails. I'm like, that's way too professional. You said everything you should. It's wrong. Just ask them if they're free at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Right? Because it's not personal. Right? The more personable you are, the more of a real person they see you as, the more difficult it is to ghost you. Right? Maybe they didn't show up. In that case, you'll deploy which theory? Douchebag theory. And what is douchebag theory? It's when you buy them an hour to not be a douchebag. Right? So nobody wants to be a douchebag. So if you book an appointment, and this happened to you, you booked an appointment at 4 o'clock, whatever day it was, you showed up at 4 o'clock, and you could confirm with the client in the morning or something, or the day before, and then they never showed up before. So you messaged them and said, hey, are you making it? Now, if they're not making it, and they reply to you, they're admitting, oh, I told you I was coming. No, I'm not coming. I'm a douchebag. But what you should have done is an hour before that appointment, said, hey, I'm just heading out. What you're saying is, I'm going out of my way right now to the apartment. And then you say, I'll be there about 15 minutes early in case you'll be in the area, which you should always plan to be 15 minutes early for all of your appointments, on the off chance that the client does show up 15 minutes early before you're there. And you've bought them now an hour to let you know that they can't make it. And up until 1 minute before that time, they have the time to save themselves from being a douchebag. So the 4 p.m. appointment, if they message you at 3:59, actually, sorry, I can't make it, in their mind, they saved themselves. But at least you'll know. What's worse is when you get there at 3:45, or let's say you just show up at 4 o'clock on the dot, and you message the person, I'm here, and they don't reply. Then you're stuck wondering, oh, are they still in the subway? Oh, were they kind of showing before? Maybe they've been out all day. We all know this feeling. Their battery died. Right? You don't know. But if they are a douchebag, they're not going to answer you. Right? So you have to send that message in advance, an hour in advance, to buy them that window to not be a douchebag. Maybe they didn't want to sign the registration form. So you have to get really good at explaining what our registration form is. Right? This doesn't bind you to us only for apartments that we show you. It says that you agree to pay a broker's fee only if you rent something that we show you. It also says that all fees are negotiable. If you rent an apartment that we didn't show you with a different agent that I never met, you don't have to pay us anything. It literally says it right here. How about disclosure forms? Some people are afraid to sign disclosure forms. Usually it's because you didn't do a very good job explaining them. or they're really dumb. Okay? Which that means you should then just do a better job explaining it to them. But there's only two reasons why somebody might not sign this stuff. And one is because they're dumb, and two is because they're planning to go behind your back. Okay? So if it's the second one, you figure that out, you deduce that, and you call them on it. Or if it's the first one, you do a better job explaining it. End of story. All right. So maybe they fell out of love with the apartment. Or maybe they never replied to you at all. The answer to that, and Aaron basically gave the answer, is following up. You guys have to follow up. Twice a day, you should do follow-ups or callbacks, where you spend a half hour reaching out to everybody. All right? You guys should especially, it's funny to me, again, Fridays, especially Friday afternoons, are the quietest around this office. If you don't have appointments booked for Saturday, almost your entire Friday should be posting apartments and following up. Hey, I got an opening tomorrow. Just wanted to check if you're still looking for a place. I'd be happy to tour you a couple of options in the morning. And again, Saturdays, you aim for the morning because Saturday afternoon clients don't show up. And over the last couple of weekends, some of you guys have gotten a taste of that medicine, especially those of you who don't typically show up on Saturdays because you're lazy and weak-minded people. You do go out of your way, you do show up on Saturday. Like, it's funny when I make a joke about it, but it's true, which is what makes it funny and sad. But you go out of your way, you show up, you got a Saturday afternoon appointment, and I'm going, oh, you bozo, it's not happening. I know you took off your beach day, whatever the fuck it is you do on Saturdays, and the client's not gonna show up, and I know it. Any experienced agents know Saturday afternoon clients almost always never show up. Why? Because they're usually, if they're serious, out with your competition in the morning. And either your competition is going to rent them an apartment, or your competition is going to say, oh, what are you seeing at 3 o'clock? I could show you that. Right down the block, we're here, we might as well go check it out. Well, maybe your client said you go. I wouldn't want to do that to somebody. I already booked the appointment with them. No, this is New York City real estate, don't worry about it. It happens to everybody who books Saturday afternoon appointments. So don't think I'm grasping at, it happens, all right? So booking people for Saturday morning, following up with people. If you don't have anything booked for Saturday morning, then all of Friday you spend following up with people, letting them know you have an opening for Saturday morning. Maybe they fell out of love with the apartment. Again, you're following up with people. Your follow-up will change from, are you still interested, to maybe you start sending them some comparable options, right? Because people will tune out of your follow-up, but if you send them a link, they'll click it. They may not reply to you, but they'll click it because people are curious. Maybe they saw it for no fee. How can you change that? Well, there's not much you can do to change that, okay? Except maybe not post the full street address, depending on the platform you're listing on, but also finding OP listings and posting the shit out of them. There's always going to be OP listings. There's fewer in the spring and summertime, but they're out there. If somebody sees it and it fits their criteria, there's no reason they would go around you. Response rate. The faster you reply to somebody, the more likely they are to meet with you. I just had a conversation with one of our hiring guys, and he said somebody sent a cover letter saying how excited they were to be working with Douglas Elliman and how much they wanted this role. I was like, okay, that goes to prove to you that they're applying for multiple brokerages. Okay, they probably overlooked it because both companies start with a D and they have no idea what they're doing, right? Or it was a mistake and it was sent already and they're just like too embarrassed to follow up about it. But don't think that they reached out to you at 11 a.m. and they waited 3 days and reached out to Douglas Elliman. They reached out to somebody else and then us and then Douglas Elliman within the span of 2.5 minutes. So much so that they were copying and pasting the cover letter. For it to stay in their copy, memory on their computer, it had to have been minutes later. Okay, so If you were one of the first, do you know that most people list their home with the first agent they deal with? Do you know that most agents sign on board with the first broker they interview with? I did. I stayed there for 5 years. And I was also very successful there. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just how people think. So you need to be the first person to answer your leads. And then you get them on the phone, let them know that anything they see online, you got them. Also, you're professional, you're the authority, you know what you're doing, you can close deals, you can advocate for them, and they're in good hands. And you're likable because you have a fun personality, and you're enthusiastic and charismatic. Right? That's going to solve half of the issues above. Let's see. Maybe some people stay where they are. Well, you're going to find that out in the consultation where they are, where they're living. Right? You may get somebody this summertime who lives in a $2,200 apartment that's been there for 3.5 years, and they're thinking about moving. Their new budget is $2,800. Right now, they're in a, what did I say, $2,200 apartment?
Yeah.
They've been there for 3.5 years. They're in a 1-bedroom where they have a queen-size bed and a desk in their bedroom. They have a living room. It's a 3rd floor walk-up. They're on 135th Street, and they're looking for, they want to upgrade. They're going to spend $2,800. Is this person moving? They're willing to spend $600 more a month. Why would they not end up moving? What do you mean? At $2,800, they're not finding a larger apartment. They're not finding a larger apartment. They're not finding anything further south. Okay, unless they're okay with it being way smaller, a tiny studio. Okay, but that's what you're finding out in the consultation. Okay, so the reason this person may not become your client, well, they will become your client. You're going to do the consultation with them. But the reason you may not end up wasting hours showing them apartments or weeks working with them is because you find out in the consultation they're not moving anywhere, right? But now you're saving yourself work. Make sense? So this is all about saving yourself time in the future, right? Time from posting ads where you get leads and you're reaching out to these people poorly, spending all this time generating leads that you never end up meeting with. That's wasted time, right? Maybe they didn't like you. That's another one. People will research you, not before they connect with you. Hi, is this still available? I'm interested. They're not going to research you then. But when you reply, yes, it is, I'd be happy to show you, please send me your number, then they will research you. All right, that's part of Tinder theory. You just swipe right on the pretty people. When you actually get a mutual connection, then you look at them, right? Then that person's going to look at your profile, and if it's just a cat picture or a flower picture, you're like, oh, scammer. Oh, profile created March 2025, scammer. Right. Oh, profile created March 2025, but looks legit. There's a profile picture, brokerage information. Oh, let me search this person's name or search their phone number. Oh, go to LinkedIn, they're on this other website. Oh, they're legit, right? So you're solving these issues before they happen. And if you're not thinking about these things, it's just going to happen to you left, right, and center. You're not going to know. Roommates. Somebody has roommates. You got to make sure that you get on the phone with all of them, right? If 3 or 4 people are going to be living together, I don't think it would be unheard of for you to end up on a group FaceTime or Zoom call with all of them, right? They're going to be sharing a fucking toilet for at least a year. These people can share 3 minutes of their time on a FaceTime call with you. Okay? I mentioned you being shady or unprofessional. Again, your personality over the phone and your web presence is going to solve some of that. Anything I'm missing? Any look at your reasons why somebody may not end up meeting with you?
They died.
They died? Yeah, well, that was one I got nothing on. Was there anything I missed?